If you are chronically online like I am, you have probably heard a lot of buzz during this year about the Roman Empire and the fact that people seem to think that men think about the Roman Empire at least once a day. I don't know if that is true or not, but I've been really enjoying people talking about like, what's my Roman Empire? Like, what is something that you for one reason or another keep thinking about sometimes on a daily basis for no apparent reason whatsoever? And please let me know. What is your Roman Empire? And if you're a man, do you think about the Roman Empire a lot? Should I ask Ricardo if he thinks? I don't know if this is true or not. And I saw recently a video from Toe Makeup Junkie 101, which is Shani. She was actually the second YouTube channel I ever followed here on YouTube, and I had the great pleasure of meeting her in New Orleans this spring, and it was absolutely amazing. She is so much fun. I actually met her again in Vegas. I was a little bit starstruck because, again, for me, she is one of the OGs and I absolutely adore her and I adore her channel. And she did a video talking about her Roman Empire and all the things during like 2015, 16, 17 makeup, all the things that were happening in the beauty community and the things that she still thinks on today, to this day, on a daily basis. That was just like big. And it got me thinking, not necessarily about like, maybe this isn't like my Roman Empire to the point where these are things that I think about on a daily. It is more like these are the things that we truly did unironically in like 2015, 17, 16. That was not in order, you know what I mean. I started my YouTube channel in 2015. These were the things we did unironically, and we thought that we were so cool. And if you didn't do this, were you even a beauty YouTuber? And now looking back at it, it is so cringe. And trying to explain to someone who started, because a lot of people started their YouTube channel in like 2020 for, I think, obvious reason, trying to explain that this is what we did and we thought it was a great idea. I've seen some faces. I've seen some faces. But let me bring up, without any specific order, the things that we did in 20, let's say 16, thinking it was a great idea. I have a list. Listen, that was just actually a little bonkers. First of all, the lashes. What were we thinking? The lashes, they were not even lashes. They were like caterpillars. Like actual, the beginning of a butterfly fell asleep on your lid. And I remember me wearing them all the time, talking about how easy these were. How easy these were to apply, how they went with every look, and how beautiful they were. And I can't help but think, what did I have a problem with my eyesight? Looking back at them, they were just like a curtain. Because I have lashes on today as well. I have a half lash on, but these are as dramatic as I will go. But like, I even think I have some still. Let me see if I have some. Because the lashes were truly lashing. The bigger, the better. And some of those really thick ones were just like a rug all the way from beginning to end. Let me see if I have some. They were truly something else.
A few moments later.
Okay, these are a perfect example. I used to mention these as favorites. I even bought backups of this one. This one isn't even open. So this is a new one. Let me open this one and I can show you. It's wild. This was a collection that Sweet Beauty did with Thomas Sekelius before she changed her name to, I think it's Tone or Tuve. I'm not 100% sure what her name is, but I know my mom is such a big fan of her. She was in the music competition, the Swedish Eurovision, and I know my mom was a big fan of her. These were the lashes that I unironically wore and thought that they were so demure, so sophisticated, definitely work appropriate. And I look back at some of the photos of my makeup looks and I'm just like, wild. Absolute bewilderness, like what was I thinking? But this was the style. This was 2016. And when people say like, oh, I hate false lashes, and they talk about my false lashes now, I'm like, oh, you sweet innocent summer child. You were not here during this era. This is what we had. This is what we did. This is actual demure compared to this. I am timid. I am work appropriate. It was wild times, and it was such Like those were the lashes. And also I remember a lot of people saying like, oh, these beauty influencers, they're not even good at makeup. They're just doing horrible blending and then putting a lash on. And now looking back at it, I'm like, you know what? In some cases, maybe. Absolute madness. And now I kind of want to do a look with these because like, I want to do like a look, like the actual 2016 makeup, not make it like, oh, make it current, make it 2024. No, actual 2016 makeup, because that was this. Full force. Another thing that was like, are you even a beauty YouTuber? I think back of this and I almost made the cringe. Are you even a beauty YouTuber if you do not have intro music that you are posting to? And it needs to be like, and it's like the boy. We were all living in the Lulu world where we thought that we need to be posing full on Vogue, but make it from Wish, just doing the poses with those big fluffy lashes to the techno music, and everybody was doing the same techno music because we were all getting the copyright free sounds from the same place. And I don't know what possessed us to think that the only way that we could show a makeup look is to do that little techno music pose cringe thing in the beginning. And we all did it. Absolutely unironically, unapologetically, and we were just posing away. And we were even like ending as well. And we were like, oh my god, now I'm just gonna do the little pose thing. And we're like, and I did it too. Listen, I am not laughing at people. I'm laughing at me. I did this. Don't go and search for... Do I need to go and like hide some videos before this one? I remember vividly a video where I said, I can't do these no more. I can't be posing anymore. This is so cringe. I tried to be, because that's me in the beginning. And I think that's a lot of people when you start out with YouTube. You get inspired from other people and you keep thinking, oh, I need to do exactly this. It's working for them. I need to do exactly this. And then you kind of find your own stride in a little bit. Very few people start out being like fully secure in their own thing and finding their own path from video one. I didn't do that. I know a lot of people who didn't do that. There's nothing wrong with doing what other people do in the beginning before you find your own thing. But I remember vividly the video where I was like, listen, I can't do that intro sing song like post thing. It's so cringe. I can't do it anymore. But I did. I sure did. There's probably still up there. Also, one of the things, and this is actually something that I think about a lot. Maybe this is my Roman Empire. And that is that we had the audacity to do monthly favorites. Monthly favorites? Really? What were those favorites? Because I think back on that now, and sometimes I go back and I look at my old videos, and just like a reminder, because a lot of my old videos are still there. They're not hidden. If you want to see where I came from, listen, it's still up there. And I look at the description box of my monthly favorites, and I remember scrambling to not mention the same things every month. But if I'm gonna be honest, like, the favorites, they don't change that much. Like, I'm still, if I will do a monthly favorites now, this is still my monthly favorite. Can you see how this powder is like holding on by a prayer? This is still my monthly favorite, and it's been for what, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years? I've been using this one, not this specific one, but I've been using this NYX powder for a hot minute. And it was just something you were supposed to do. You were supposed to do a monthly favorite. And if you didn't have any new favorites, listen, scramble, mention some workout boots, mention a monthly favorite song. We were out here scrambling, trying to think about monthly favorites. And I don't do monthly favorites anymore. I stopped doing them, and I did like seasonal favorites for a bit. And then I know 1 year I just did a yearly favorites, but then I thought that wasn't enough. So I think like 3 years back or something, 3 years back, I started doing like a half year favorites. Basically, like, in like June, July, I just did these have been my favorite products, new products of the year so far. And sometimes they change throughout the year, and the things that I mentioned there doesn't make it to like the end of it. But I think that most of us since then has realized that what is a favorite? A favorite isn't something that you tried this month, that you like, that you gave a good review. It's not a favorite if you next month have another favorite. That's not what a favorite means. That is not like holy grail status. And I think a lot of products that as a beauty YouTuber we try, we end up thinking like these are great products, but do they stand the test of time? Will they be a yearly favorite? Will they be a half-year favorite? Will they be a holy grail? And I don't want to say on a yearly basis, but definitely on a weekly basis, I still think back of the time where booty gurus literally would apologize if they forgot a monthly favorites. Wild times. I much appreciate what we have going on right now, where we do review roundups and rankings and stuff like that, because it's more believable. Like, this could be a great product, but it's not this month's favorite. I hope that this makes sense, but oh boy, I think about that a lot, because we really did have the audacity to do like a 30-minute monthly favorite. Wild times. No, this one is my actual Roman Empire. This is something that I probably think about, if not on a daily, at least a couple times a week. The way that all of our thumbnails, every single thumbnail that we did, we were holding up a product. Like we were like, it was like an evidence. Listen, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna talk about this. It's in the video. Do you see I own it? I have it. It was like evidence. We're like, doing a tutorial with the new palette. It's right here. I'm holding it. If we were doing like monthly favorites, we were just scrambling to hold on to every single product. I could be holding dog toys and say monthly favorites and nobody saw what I was holding. But if you look back at that time, the amount of thumbnails that are like, because that's what we did. You had to hold up the product. How do I prove to you that this is the palette if I don't hold it up? I think now, and this is the same, oh my god, the amount of times where instead of putting in B-roll with close-ups of the product, we're just like, just trying to show you, and everything turns blurry, and the closer you hold it to the camera, the lighter it gets, because the light and everything, and we were scrambling. And it was a little bit more not so serious back then, I guess. And I'm not saying that it was unserious, and I'm not saying that it's deadly serious right now, but, and I say this with love, but a lot of things that have come to change in the beauty community is because some viewers, I'm not saying you personally, but some viewers get really upset in the comments when the beauty YouTuber is not bringing the quality, when they're not editing everything to look super professional, when they don't have professional lighting, when they don't have close-ups, when they don't have swatches, when they don't have different lightings, when they don't have a bunch of B-roll and pictures and sound effects and professional microphones and cameras and like the equipment that is in this room. This is some really professional equipment, and it wasn't like that back then. And a reason why a lot of us changed is because I used to get the meanest comments telling me that I was like borderline a disgrace for littering up YouTube with this awful quality videos. I mean, and we all did what we had to do to just try and make it better. Better thumbnails, better lighting, better quality, better swatches, better close-ups, better everything. Because otherwise, the audience would tell us, listen, this isn't enough. How can we take you serious with this unprofessional setup? And parts of me do miss just sitting down and just weird lighting, weird wonky lighting, just holding something up and not getting angry comments saying, where's the close-up? Where's the swatches? But yeah, it wasn't like that back then. And I think about that a lot when I see my old thumbnails, especially. We're always holding something up. We're like, listen, I know the title is telling you that I'm having this palette, but look, here's the evidence. I own it. And I kind of miss it. Maybe I should bring it back. Maybe I should bring it back. Gotta show the products. What else is the thumbnail supposed to be? Also, and this is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, maybe not on a daily basis, but I've been thinking about it a lot because we've been talking about like how expensive makeup has become, especially indie makeup, how expensive it has become because of all the expensive ingredients that we now expect from a palette. And I remember back in 2016, 17, when we would lose our shit over a duochrome. We'd be like, oh my god, somebody call the police, somebody call Trend Mood, it is a duochrome. And now we're just like, just duochrome? Not a multi-chrome with holographics, like low-key glow in the dark, call up DoorDash and give you like a snack on the side kind of a shade. That's almost what we're looking for now. But I remember specifically, this is something I thought about the other day, Makeup Geek, because I met Marlena the other day, which was absolutely mind-blowing and amazing. I remember when Makeup Geek released their duochrome collection, and it was like 6 or 7 pigments and 6 or 7 single shadows, and it was, and I'm saying just now, and this is spoiled entitled 2024 Angie saying just, but it was just duochromes, and it was beautiful. The shades were stunning. I still remember Mai Tai so fondly. Kaleidoscope was so beautiful. I think Blacklight as well, right? With the blue purple duochrome was so beautiful. How do I remember? This is my secret superpower. I remember makeup names. I remember how excited we were about that. But also think now, if a brand, an indie brand, released a collection today that they called the Duochrome collection that had 6 loose pigments and 6 single shadows, would you care? Would I make a dedicated video on that? No. But back then, the Duochromes, we were so excited. And when we were swatching singles, I remember me buying singles from Coastal Scents and swatching them when we found a duochrome. It was bingo. It was better than Payday. It was amazing. We're like, oh my god, we have a duochrome. I remember that green red duochrome that they had. I don't remember the name. That one I remember, it was so crazy. People were like losing their marbles over it. Now, that's the least we expect. We don't even call it duochrome a special shade anymore. No. We are expecting multi-chrome, iridescent, sparkly, holographic glow in the dark kind of a situation for us to be even remotely intrigued or to be impressed enough to even mention it. A duochrome? Peh! I see duochromes on a daily, and I do miss that time where we appreciated just a good metallic, a good sparkle, and a good duochrome. You don't see an excitement over just a good quality shadow anymore. We're just looking for special, and then we get upset when it's expensive. We brought this upon ourselves. Also, one thing, and I don't think that you get it unless you were there, but one of the most popular videos that people did, and they would get tens of thousands of views, even for small channels, were Makeup Revolution hauls. Not using it, just hauling, just showing all the things they got, because back in the day, Makeup Revolution, they had so many things. And they still, like they do now, they released so much. On a daily, on a weekly basis, they kept churning things out just the way that they do now, even more than almost. And people just kept buying and doing hauls on a weekly basis, just buying tons and piles of stuff, buying all the shades of highlighters, buying all the eyeshadow palettes, collecting everything, and just doing videos showing their Makeup Revolution hauls. And I remember the big thing in the video was always like, I bought all of this stuff and it only cost me this much. Because it was so dirt cheap affordable, and I did it too. I am sure I have at least one Makeup Revolution haul on my channel because I loved watching them and I loved seeing people getting, let's be honest, the quantity of makeup and people just hauling like bags and bags and bags of Makeup Revolution. Today, nobody would watch that. I mean, I don't say nobody, but you will not get 50,000 views just pulling up 2 big packs of Makeup Revolution, showing this stuff and calling it a day. Nobody would care. So that's also something I think about a lot. I mean, hauls overall are not as popular now as they were then, but I don't think people truly understand how popular really juicy makeup hauls were back then. They don't need to be swatches, no B-roll, no swatches, just showing the things. People ate that up. One thing that I also don't think that if you weren't there, you cannot fully understand the actual madness hype over the Morphe 35O. The way that it sold out again and again and again over almost a year time. Every time it got back in stock, it sold out. It got back in stock, it sold out. It got back in stock, it sold out. If you didn't own this palette, what were you even doing with your life? And it wasn't even a fun palette. And I remember, of course, owning the palette. And I remember my review of Morphe at the time was, well, this is fine. It's not as extraordinary as the people are saying that it is, but it isn't bad. It's fine. And it was just a fine formula. It was honestly pretty similar to Coastal Scents. It was just like, some of them were really good. Some of them were really bad. Most of them were like good, but like not extraordinary. And then there were a couple that were extraordinary. But the thing about 35O, the way that people just got, it was something that the stars were aligned. It was a big palette. You got lots of shades, even though half of them were the exact same shade of brown, all shade. And there were like 3 shades of orange. And the orange eyeshadows were coming in so hot at that time. And for people to get such a big palette with mostly nudes and neutrals and browns, and what the beauty gurus were hyping up as like incredible formula, and you were able to use the discount codes, and these like affiliate codes were new at the time. People weren't really used to affiliate codes being a thing, and for you to be able to get this dirt cheap palette with so many shades, with those a few hot orange shades and a discount code, it was just the perfect storm. And I don't think that people truly understand how big this palette was and how it was just everywhere. Truly, there's a couple of palettes that I can remember have had that hyped. And I don't know if anyone besides the Modern Renaissance and 35O have had that hype. Maybe the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. Maybe that one as well, where people were truly just talking about it again and again and again and again and again. It was everything. Now there are new palettes every week, but back then, the Morphe 35O, it stayed in people's mouths, I want to say for like almost a year. It was truly something else. I also wanted to mention, and I think that like we've seen a big change. I don't want to say a big change. Let me rephrase. We've seen a big shift in drama channels, and some people that used to be in the drama are now instead reporting on the drama. And I also feel like back in the day, because beauty was so big on YouTube, it is a niche thing, and not everybody's about beauty, but everybody was interested in the beauty community. The people that were doing beauty, they weren't necessarily interested in makeup. And that also shows that when the hype died down in the beauty community and it was no longer the community that everybody wanted to stay on top of, some people, they truly weren't that interested in the makeup itself once the hype died down in the beauty community. And a lot of people stopped doing makeup primarily because there were other business opportunities somewhere else, or maybe they realized that they weren't as into makeup as they were before. And then there are some people that are now doing the kind of drama that they themselves used to be in before. And I also think that like, if you weren't here then, you truly cannot understand how absolutely engulfing the beauty community drama was back then. It could be a full video about this person unfollowed that person. And it was just like the absolutely minute things that were just blown totally out of proportions, and some things that people still talk about that I look back at and I'm just like, I can't believe this was ever drama. It is so stupid and it's so easily explainable. And I think now the things that are like, when drama channels talk about drama, it's usually stuff that are like straight up illegal, like straight up like unforgivable things. And it's just this stupidest things back then. I will say drama channels never died. And there is a lot of channels right now that are talking about like current events and drama. Back then, it was only the beauty community. It was only the beauty community, and I still see the same kind of thumbnails being made with the beauty creator on the side, someone looking disappointed, and then using words as like deceit or lies or shady or all the same kind of words that were used in 2016 because it's still bringing in the views. People have to pay the rent somehow. I get it. It was never for me, but it is fascinating to see now that when we talk about drama now, when we talk about drama channels or news channels, it isn't necessarily about the beauty community. But back then, if we were talking about drama channels, we didn't even have to mention that it was about the beauty community. What other community was there that had drama? None. If it was a drama channel, it was about the beauty community. Period. End of discussion. There's no more to add to that. But now it's mostly about TikTok stars. I will say that's usually what the drama is. I don't necessarily watch the videos, but I see the thumbnails come up in my recommendations, and I try to not watch videos that I think like make me be in a bad mood. I necessarily don't think that it's a good look to put yourself on a pedestal and discuss how other people are faulty, because I think that, as it has turned out to be pretty true, a lot of these drama channels were just as messy as the people that they were reporting on, and I'm sure that things will turn up to be the exact same about the new generation of drama channels. But with that being said, back then the drama was the beauty community. That was the community. That was it. There's nothing else to report on. But now it is at least a little bit more diverse on who's getting reported on. I also will say, like I said, the drama is not even drama anymore. It's like actual serious felonies. And I don't want to like talk about drama when like some stuff are just bananas. I do love though the uprise of more like journalism kind of channels that are like not as petty and sometimes mean girls as some channels can be. Like, I love CoffeeZilla's channel. You already know about him. I really enjoy his channel. I think he makes entertaining videos that doesn't feel as petty as some other videos do. And I do appreciate the rise of that. But these were my takes on the things from 2016, the booty guru era of 2016, where the beauty community really was crazy poppin', the things that I still think of. And I giggle when I think about the fact that I participated in a lot of these things myself, and how some things just seemed so normal or so serious or so given. And now that we look back at it, it's almost like it's a little embarrassing and cringy, but it's all about being able to have fun at yourself, because I can do that. I can look back at some of my content and be like, ooh, it's a little cringy, but it's also fun. Like, we all grew, and I'm sure if I look back at these videos 5 years from now, I'm gonna be like, that's a little cringy, but that's totally fine. Please let me know, what are the things from the beauty community back in the day that you still think about? And maybe some of the things from the even more OG, the ones that were before 2015-16 when I started YouTube. Are there some of those things that you still think about on a daily, weekly basis? I would love to hear about them down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you soon in a new video. Bye!